on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. What's happening, gentlemen?
Just another day in paradise where USA is in the finals.
They are, and we might as well chat about that to kick this thing off, since people were a little mad about that final pitch that put Dominican away. They wanted that. They wanted a challenge there.
They were out of challenges, were they not?
I believe they were. Yeah.
That's the problem. Hey, ultimately, I finally got to figure out when I was down at spring training exactly what the story is with the challenges, which is kind of good. You get 2 challenges per game. Every time you call it correctly, you get your challenge back.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you can keep them coming then.
Challenge all game long as long as you're right. So if you were wrong, you only get 2. My expectation is that they will increase that to 3 at some point.
Yeah.
Just because
it says here, though, in World Baseball Classic, you're not getting challenges.
You're not?
So maybe that's what it says here. You're not getting, they don't. Yeah, because the article didn't state anything about it. I also think if the game tying run is on third, that you're pretty much protecting the plate. You don't want to put it in the umpire's hands, but can't really argue that.
I tell you, that was a great pitch.
Yeah,
it sunk at the last second, so it was a great pitch. I agree. He should have fouled that one off. Yeah. It wasn't like it was so far away, and of course they show where it ends.
Right.
But you saw the dip. It dipped late.
Yeah. Yeah. And he also did a great job framing it. So let's give him credit for that. But to me, it was close enough in those stakes. And like I said, game tie on third, you don't let that just come across. Like, you have to protect that situation. We all see whether it's a great call, terrible call, you don't want to put it in someone else's hands. You
slap at that, right? Like you just toss the bat down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the other call that people were a little mad about was there was an out at second. That was absolutely an out, right? People were mad. They're like, oh, he didn't control the ball. It's like, no, he mishandled trying to turn the double play.
Right.
Right. But he caught the ball solidly to get the guy at second. Like that. I don't know why people they're just looking for reasons to be mad, but that is a play that you've seen happen a million times. Dude at second is out every time. He obviously caught the ball and then was trying to turn that second play, or that. So it just didn't. That one didn't make a lot of sense. That pitch was amazing to wrap it up, and framed well, like you said. But in the land of, ABS now, people are we want to see that, and if you challenged it, it would have been low, no question. If that was available.
Yeah. And that's what I'm reading. I don't know where they've implemented that yet. Is it just like minor leagues, or has it already got into is it going to be in the majors this year?
It's in the majors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is for the whole year. So last year they tried it out in preseason play, and it was really successful.
Right.
And they it's the right amount of time. Right. Like, you challenge and they're on it. Right. Like it adds a couple of seconds to the game. Like, it is really fast to challenge a call. So like Philly said, I think it's probably going to increase to 3, but the fact that you can keep them coming if you're right.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Because other sports, you get 3, even if you're right all the time, you still have a cap on how many times you can still do it. So
yeah, the NFL, right? Like, if you get them both right, you get an extra one, and that's it.
They said, we're not doing this all day.
Exactly. But those take a lot longer also.
Yeah.
Right? They waste 5 minutes challenging a call in the NFL. Whereas when it came to, the ABS thing, they're 10 seconds and they're back at it.
Well, and that's exactly it. You have to challenge right away.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a move, like, uh, like a shrug of your shoulders, and then go to tap, you've done too much. So,
Wow.
it's like they are very particular on that. You can also not get any help. There's only 3 people that can do the challenge. It's the catcher, the pitcher,
Yep.
and the batter. That's it. Nobody can call it and say, challenge this one. You know what I mean? Now,
Right.
that being said, realistically, if you have a challenge left and you are called out on strikes on the last pitch of the game,
You challenge.
you're going to challenge
Yeah.
anyway. It's an
Yeah.
automatic, right?
Yeah.
As long as you got a challenge available, you're going to challenge it. Now, most of the time, it's like if they have that pitch yesterday, it's like that's going to become a ball, and now you've got first and third with 2 outs, and him pitching to another guy who was also the leadoff. Like that was the number 1 guy. So they wanted to try to turn over the batting order.
Right.
And I was like, you need to get this guy out.
For sure. I also wonder once you get to that, how many times is the batter going to challenge something? The manager's like, no, like saving them. We're not doing this, because you're going to see some guys in the first inning want to be like, oh, I hated that pitch challenge. And we're going to be like, what are we doing? Like, we don't even care.
Well, so it becomes a matter of the batter has got to understand the situation.
Mhm.
If he thinks it's an egregious call,
Right.
like if it's really close, you can't make that call in the first couple innings.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's outside and and you feel it's outside, then challenge it. Like he called a strike and it was definitely a ball. You know what I mean? Or there's a lot of times where they're calling balls. I mean, because think about this, your pitcher is going to think that there are a lot more strikes. So realistically, you're using those for your pitcher, not your batter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I've just watched too many sports these days. Like, go watch a basketball game, and they're trying to challenge every single call, of every single moment. And I just feel like you're going to get some points where it's too much in the first inning, and some managers going to be like, look, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but we're talking like the second pitch of the game. Like, can we just move on from this instead of, but how emotional, like either the batter or the pitchers or how they get in the middle of it. Oh, that was terrible challenge. Like, no, move on, save these for important moments. But if it's in their hands, that's kind of interesting to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the very beginning of a game, you actually do see a lot of challenges because ultimately, I mean, listen, these umpires are human, and it's likely in the first couple of pitches, he's trying to get his zone established.
Right.
Yeah.
So the zone may be a little off. So that's where I kind of feel like at the very beginning, is where you start to like, listen, if you challenge the first pitch, that came down that you thought was a ball and it's a strike, you're automatically on the backside of that now.
Yeah.
But so you need to win that very first challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it can't be close. Like that's the problem. Because they're setting that up like it's a wiffle ball strike.
Yes.
So it's if it nips the board, it's a strike.
Yep.
Right.
So you as a batter better understand and it not be close. Like it better be way outside that he called a strike, and then they show it and it's like, hey, this has got 4 millimeters.
It's funny though because the catchers and the pitchers have actually been, or I mean the catchers and the batters have been pretty good about getting him correct. Pitchers have not. Pitchers have not had great success at challenging, and it actually makes sense, right? Because the follow through takes you off that center line, right? So most of these guys kind of fade to a side after they throw, and so you don't really, they're not getting a clear view of it. The batters, they're used to watching these things come through, and the catcher has the best view in the house, right? So I mean,
Right.
they should be pretty right. But it has been funny because you watch some of the pitchers get kind of animated. They're like, "You got to challenge that," and then they do, and they don't win. And it's like, man, you got to calm down.
Right.
They interviewed some of the other pitchers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, the challenges are for the other guys." Like
Right.
I don't know. They all look like strikes to me.
Right. And that would be part of my point. I would think you wouldn't want it in certain guys' hands for sure. So that's interesting that it's only those three.
Well, like I said, I think I agree with that whole process that you don't want to, and you have to do it right away. You cannot give the opportunity of, breathing about it and thinking about it after the fact. Like it's got to be fast. Like he made the call.
What do I think?
You know what I mean? That's an automatic. Now what gets me is that you have them drawn out strike calls where it's like he's sitting there for a second and then he wants to do a dance.
Right.
I mean, that's where you're going to start to have a little bit of those. I waited for him to call strike. I wasn't sure because he was doing he's preparing to do the cucaracha over there. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's like the first one's a call, the second one is firm, third one's a dance. You know what I mean? It's so.
Yep.
I mean, at least that's how being an umpire should be. I mean, that's the way it used to be. The way who was that big guy that did it all the time? He was very well known. I don't know. He's dead now, unfortunately. But
like, you don't see it as much as you used to, because that used to be a big thing, right? The dance at the end on the on a good punch out. You don't see as much of that anymore.
Right. Yeah. Although the guy, the umpire last night had a good one at the very end.
Oh yeah.
And he called it right away. Like it wasn't. It was close enough. Like I said, I know that it showed the end, so it looked a lot lower than it really was.
Right.
It was a lot closer at where they would have marked it. So it wouldn't have surprised me if it was a strike where it got called. So, because that's the hard part about this. If they are putting it up there where it finally ends in the catcher's mitt in comparison to the square when it crosses the square, because some of the ones that you've seen have been 3D. Where you can kind of see, it's made it in a little bit.
Right, into the zone, yeah.
So that's how I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a plate-shaped object, right? Like they were going to have multiple cameras instead of this 2D thing. Because, I mean, it could cross a front or rear corner. Like, where exactly is this two-dimensional board? Is it the middle of the plate? The front of the plate? Like, where exactly is that? Because, I mean, if you have a wicked slider or something, it could come back into the plate on the back half. And if it's, the leading half of the plate where this two-dimensional board is, it could be a strike and not be a strike.
So it's supposed to be at the belt buckle.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
that's where they're supposed to line this up at. So if it's supposed to be dead center. Now, that's also where now you've seen these guys, like anybody who said that they were 6'2" or whatever, really is only 5'11" and a half.
Yeah.
You're seeing that now because they have to give their actual size, because there you are shrinking now. You want to be smaller because that's you're good. They're giving you from to just your sternum to knees.
Yeah.
So and that's at a full standing position.
That's the thing that's weird about it, right? Is they're standing upright instead of a batting stance, because that does change kind of where that is, right? Because when you're down in your batting stance, the lower end of your zone is actually a little bit lower than if you're standing full upright. And then the top end, like, that means it's technically a strike based on the board. It'd be crossing your eyes.
So, but I mean, in certain circumstances, that's why they're doing it their sternum. It's not even, it used to be like at your, like
Mhm.
from nipples down, but it's not that way anymore. So that's why they're doing the sternum down. So it's like just above the belt line to your knees is really the strike zone. And it's like I said, it's a full box, but yeah, now if you're crouching down, it's shorter. It seems shorter, but it's not shorter. And that's the problem, because you could get the top half where if he's crouched down, Pete Rose was really great at that. That was what allowed him to have so many hits. He was able to have such a compact stance that you had to pitch in that strike zone,
Well,
and
no, but
that
that's
was all red for him.
Yeah, but that's my point, right? Is your actual strike zone when you're standing there versus when you're standing upright is wildly different.
Correct. So, but that's now they give it to the strike zone there. So the umpire actually has a little bit of leeway
Exactly.
when it comes to that. Also, like strikes, that's what the umpires are actually talking about, where they have the hardest time and where they have the biggest disparity of calls that they believe are strikes that are balls, that because they're crouched down a little bit and the stance is a little bit on the wider side and they got their knees buckled a little bit, it comes across their knees, which would make it a strike. However, the box is a little higher and elevated from that. So, and that's where the biggest disparity is, that there's strikes that are being called balls, and for the batter.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All that to say, the U.S. advances.
Yes.
It was a good game. It was a good game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the longer it went on, the more worried I got about the U.S. dropping that game, because the offense just wasn't coming together. So you're just like, oh, Dominican might actually snag this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when the guy got the third.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, this could be this could be tough. This could be tough. But wound up being, like I said, USA advances. We watched tonight Italy versus Venezuela.
Yep.
I'm interested to see. Obviously, I'd love to see Italy go on this run. It's funny. I obviously, the amount of players that actually were born in Italy that are on this team is 3. There's only 3 players that were born in Italy. And interestingly enough, Israel was the only team. They had 1 player that was born in Israel. But obviously they make a lot of concessions to field teams.
Right.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah.
So, but Italy
it's limited to, have you heard of us? Okay.
Yes. Can you point us out on a map? Close enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say just the continent. Just the
But Italy's got 3 players that were born in Italy that are playing on the team, and they're undefeated. And of course, they have been the underdog in every game that they have played.
Yep.
And not to be, it's underdog again tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you know what? If you're if that's what helps you out, I mean,
yeah, if that's what's working, we'll go with it.
Exactly.
Expectations. I think it's the mange. Yeah, every time they do a hit, they're doing. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that Italy wins. It will be very interesting though if Venezuela wins.
Yes.
Just because of the political climate around it.
Absolutely.
Will make it very interesting. You know, it's like first off, I was surprised they beat Japan.
Yeah.
Me too. I thought for sure Japan was going to cruise right through that.
Yeah. Shohei got the first home run, and then
That was it.
yeah, didn't have a very good game.
Yeah.
So, and neither did the rest of Japanese hitters. So I was surprised all in general of that. But
yeah,
you know, and the other thing is that the fact that they're having this on St. Patrick's Day is also a little funny.
I'm not mad at that.
Not at all.
Well, it just means that you have to be at the bar.
Exactly. I'll be like, yeah, I'll order more beers. Like, is that for the game? I'm like, game? Yeah, for the game.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
There is, I will say, a very, very, very small possibility that I'm going to go to the game.
Okay.
I have interest in trying to get down there. If it's the USA versus Italy, that's a tough one. Yeah, like it. Well, and that's a real tough one because it's like, hey, do I pay? You know, obviously I'm Italian. You know, my nationality is Italian, but I am American. You know what I mean? So it's that's like a big thing. I'm sure like I might be like, hey, Big Dom, let's go down there because I know Big Dom would be dead interested in getting down to Miami to go to that game.
Sure.
You're like, hey,
that's where you get a jersey rush made that's got the split flag in the back.
Yeah.
Well, I have a hockey jersey for Team USA.
Okay.
So I understand it's not baseball, but it's like you could kind of.
We'll forgive you, right?
And I'm not mad at whoever wins if it's USA versus Italy.
Right.
You know, the thing that's funny is, like, it would just be kind of cool for Italy if they won, right? You know, obviously I'm rooting for the US, but I mean, yeah, I also wouldn't be mad because you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like it's
Italy, the leader of the baseball world.
Right? Yeah, no, exactly what I'm saying, right? The underdog
I'm ready for it
through and gets the championship, like that'd be amazing.
Yeah. And having to beat the US twice to do it would be, I mean, that's a story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm interested.
Our first game was probably a little easier for him than it should have been.
Right. But if I'm Italy, I still put that notch on my belt. Yeah, I beat the US twice. Like
a win's a win.
Yep.
Win's a win.
And not for nothing, but Italy is undefeated against Mexico, which is also kind of funny. I mean, in World Baseball Classics, Mexico has never beaten Italy, which sounds funny to me.
It's
just
surprising.
Sounds funny, yeah. So, I'm excited to see if they make it. You know, and if I can afford to go, because it's also trying to fly down there and fly back in a day. It's there's a lot of money that's getting spent on that.
Yeah. Same day flights are no joke.
Yeah,
they get your pocket.
Well, it wouldn't be the same day. I'd have to spend the night. Because that game's getting over at 11. I'm not trying to take a red eye.
Oh no! I mean, based on when you're booking it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you'd be booking this thing like almost same day, and that's when they're like, oh, you actually need to get somewhere,
right?
Bring your wallet.
Someone's actively pressing buttons to raise the price on the other end while you
you're sitting there watching it just roll up like the gas pump.
But the good thing is that I have a couple of different locations. Philadelphia's airport right now is a little bit of a mess.
Okay.
And so, like, because of the partial government shutdown, they don't have enough TSA, so they closed an entire wing of the airport.
Sweet.
So yeah, you know how people are real happy. Like there was one, like they had like I think 1,000 people in line and 2 TSA checkers. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, that's a slow moving line.
Yeah, fortunately, I haven't had to do any travel. My wife just went down to Cali, and even the uh, like the pre-check line, because of the limited amount of TSA agents, was still really long, right?
Right.
And we usually enjoy the here. Let's just run through this thing real quick, and it ended up taking her a long time. Not as long as the normal line that was basically wrapped all the way through SeaTac. Um, so yeah, they need to figure this. You got to figure this stuff out. Like, what are we doing? And for all of those people that are enjoying this government shutdown, you should also stop getting paid. Let's do some of that. Because the rest of us, if we're not showing up to work and doing our job, what we don't get is money.
Money. There you go.
Anyway, I just feel like there'd be incentive to, I don't know, go back to work.
Yeah. Well, usually the people who get caught up in this somehow find a way to vote themselves a raise in the middle of it. But that's
exactly.
It's neither here nor there.
That being said, I wouldn't mind being a senator for one term, because you're exempt from insider trading. Oh, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
There are so many things.
I'm like, where's the kickbacks? Like, just can we get? I'm only here for one term. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
That's right. I don't need to be here forever. I just need to get rich real quick.
And I can't shoot a basketball, so this is it for me.
That being said, the playoff hunt for hockey is well underway now. We are inside of about 16 games to wrap the season up, and the Kraken claw their way back into that wild card spot. The McMahon is showing out. They finally let him in the country, so that's a huge win after having to sit out 2 games.
When that happened. Yeah.
And he comes in. They play it back to back, and 2 games, 3 goals, a couple of assists. He has made the difference that they traded for, and good to see. It's good to see. Even though I missed the game yesterday because I'm stupid. Like I knew they had a game on the 15th, but they played the day before, and there's usually a day in between games. And so I was in the middle of doing stuff, and I was working on the house. I had a ton of stuff tore apart. And then I'm like, oh, it's the 15th. And then I look on my phone. I'm like, and it's a 5 o'clock game. I was like, I am never making that.
Right.
By the time I get everything put away and then drive to Seattle, I was like, oh, I'd been there at halftime.
Yeah. Which I was about over with at that point. Yeah. I thought about you when he finally made his appearance. I was like, did Bo have something to do with this after talking about him like on the show on Friday and getting him in there? And then when you have 11 goals in 2 games since he's been in there, it's like sometimes one guy does make all the difference. And now you climb right back into that playoff spot, right? The last playoff spot. So, I mean, all the things that you were saying you wanted from him and to help, I mean, actually came to fruition. So I was like, all right. Go ahead, Kraken. And then last night was 3-1 in the first period. I was like, okay, this game's over. I don't have to stay up to follow the end of this.
You can't say that because I have seen the Kraken kind of fall apart at times.
Right.
But
I had faith.
They started out. Usually they don't do it with a lead, though. Usually they'll hang on to a lead, but you've seen them just fall apart early in a game. They've only lost a lead like that a couple of times this year, but yeah. So back in the playoff hunt, which is nice because before they let him in the country, they were on a pretty rough slide out of the Olympic break, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, maybe I don't have to plan for playoff hockey. Like, so still a tight race though. There are 4 teams all vying for that final wild card spot. Plenty of time for that to shift around a bit. They're all within about 2 points of each other.
Yeah, Winnipeg is about the. Winnipeg's the biggest surprise, actually. The fact that they are that far out, 5 points out from you guys there.
Yeah.
But it's the Sharks. Sharks and the Kings are the ones that are really close. When you're 5 points is out, like the Flyers are right now 6 points out. And I think that like that is the extremist far out like that you can get, and maybe have an opportunity. And you better win 80% of the games that you're playing,
And you'll need help.
and you're going to need them to go on a little bit of a losing streak. They have some tough games, like the teams that are ahead of you, some tough games, because ultimately everybody, if you are close to being in the playoffs, you're playing good hockey right now.
Yeah.
So
are you saying that this next Ducks game for you guys is basically a must win, or is that how you're looking at it?
For Seattle?
No, for Philly.
Oh,
because he said as far out as they are right now.
So we are at
5 points out. Yeah, they're 5 points out. They just lost to the Blue Jackets, who's a team that's ahead of them. Also, right? Was that 2-1 the other day? So
yes, but that was a 3-point, and that was a 3-point game. So we got a point in that, which helps. But like he says, we're 6 points out of a playoff spot to both the Red Wings and the Bruins. And ultimately, you have to jump over Ottawa and the Blue Jackets to be able to do that. The Blue Jackets are actually playing okay. They get points in every one of their games. It seems like they've got they're 5-1-4. So single points helps you here. Ottawa is playing out of their mind right now. They got a 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. The Red Wings are falling off, but the Bruins are playing hot, and the Islanders are playing hot. The Penguins have cooled down a little bit, but again, they are so far ahead with 81 points that it's like it's if the Blue Jackets beat the Islanders could be out, or the Penguins could be out, and we're still 7 points away from either one of those guys. So that's going to be the hard part here.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're just running out of time.
Yeah. We only have 8 more games. Not 8. Let's see. It's 14 more games. So that's 28 points if you were to win every game.
Yeah.
And if you and I think the problem is that you need, out of that 28 points, you need 19 to 20 points. Oof. That's what I think. I think you need to have, they have 74 points now. You need to have 92 points to make it. So that's really 18 points.
Probably, especially based on where the teams are in front of you, right? Because you're going to have to be outplaying them, and they're going to win some games.
Right. Like I said, the Blue Jackets are playing great right now. So they're not great, but they're playing good enough where, in their last 10 games, they've got 14 points. You know what I mean? They got 4 ties, 5 wins, and a loss. So it's 14 points out of a possible 20. Yeah. I mean, that's going to typically do it for you throughout the rest of the season if that's what you're getting. Ottawa right now is even better than that. Like, they've got 16 out of their last 20 points.
Yeah, no, I got to watch a couple of those points.
So ultimately, that's kind of what we're dealing with. And like I says, we're 6 points out of the wild card spot, which is held at 80 points, and 81 points out of the 3.
So how does the tiebreakers work?
So it goes to automatic wins first.
Okay.
So that's you have wins, and then so like if you're tied in points, wins start that.
So you're 7, really, because Like you'd have to get 7 points to get ahead of those guys because they would realistically have the tiebreaker on you based on wins.
Yes. Yeah, because we have too many overtime losses.
Exactly.
So you got a lot of those 1 points. So we really need to get 81.
Yeah.
And if we were to get, like, for instance, the Penguins have all those points because they've lost in overtime a lot. So they've had a lot of 1 point games. So that's where they're the only one that we'd be able to jump over if that was the case, even though Pittsburgh has beaten us, won the season series, we would win as long as we have more actual wins than they do.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I was curious because it, like I figured it came to that, and then from there it would come to like head to head. And
correct. That's why they don't play even numbers of games anymore either. They kind of push it so that you got 3 games. And I'm not a big fan of the way that they did this. I liked it better when you were playing more in a division of like 5 guys, where it was like, hey, you had your division of 5 instead of, hey, we got 16 guys in this conference and 14 teams in this conference. And
Right.
I'm not a big fan of that. I liked the old divisions where you'd play those guys more frequently and less on the West Coast and such.
Right. Yeah. When y'all first started talking about it and I started looking at the standings, I was like, where are all the what's going on here? What is this big jumbled mess of of the playoff standings? It's like if you're an outsider and you first look at it, it's a little weird to try to follow.
Yes. I mean, it's tough to follow in general.
Especially when you're used to the other sports and looking at it that way, and then you come over and look and it just looks like they just threw everybody, into 2 pools and said, all right, have at it. So
yeah, I mean,
and the other thing that you'll notice, one of the things that you will find out is that being the best team in the regular season usually means that you're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
The President's Cup trophy is a kiss of death for most teams.
I mean, that usually wasn't basketball too, right? Like if you go into it as the 1 seed with the best record, yeah, you're a first or second round exit for sure.
Yeah.
And now if you win the stupid in-season tournament, whatever, you're definitely losing.
Yeah. Well, that thing happened so early that half the times when you win that, your team's not even the same by the end of the year, or you've just started, you spend a lot of energy trying to get that, and then that team never repeats. So I get it.
Oh, this one's for you, Bags.
The Flyers goalie is okay. Dan Vladar has been playing great. Harrison is not so great. The defense is not the best. And we are the Flyers are 2 years away from, being, even a playoff team, I think. And I thought that by getting into the playoffs this year, they could maybe jump a little bit. They just don't have the guy to put the puck in the net. And that's the problem. You need guys that can keep scoring all the time. And that's the issue. We do not have that guy. And, I as much as I like TK, as much as, as they touted Mitchkov, I know Joel Farabee not being on, getting hurt and not being able to play the rest of the season, it was a big deal. You know what I mean? It's like he was a guy who could score some goals, and you need when you have guys that can only put 25 goals in a season or 30 goals a season, you need a lot of those guys. We don't have a lot of those guys. We have a couple of those guys.
What's up, TJ?
And that becomes a problem because you're not putting the puck in the net then. Yeah. So, and even it doesn't matter. if you have a goaltender that only lets up 2 goals a game on average, or 2.25 goals a game, that means you've got to score 3. And if you don't have that, you lose.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down to. It's like it becomes frustrating. It becomes frustrating, and because I think that playoff hockey is so much better when Philly is in it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm
of
not
course.
saying that, and I'm saying that a little bit biased, but realistically, it's just better in general because it energizes this city,
Sure.
and like I said, hockey is great, and
In any sport, any of the cornerstone teams,
Right.
you always
You
want
want
to
in
see
there.
them,
Yeah.
right? You always want to see them in the mix, just because it does make it interesting, right? Like in basketball, you want to see the Knicks in there, even though you know that they're going to be like they're going to mess it up, right?
Right.
But they're one of those franchises that you just expect to have a presence, right?
Yeah.
And every league has those types of teams,
For
but
sure.
yeah, I don't know.
What's
yeah.
up, Chad? Yeah.
That all being said, I think that they're going to come up a little short, and that means that we're going to have like no chance of getting the first pick in the draft, and we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of pick 13 or 14, where it's a crapshoot on whether you get somebody worthwhile or not. You got some 17-year-old kid who, and the way hockey goes right now and the way things are happening, like, we had a guy who supposedly could have been that goal scorer for us, but he didn't want to play here in Philly. So, it's, Cutter Gauthier, who's now plays in Anaheim, is, it's just like, really, like, so, like, now these guys are going to get to choose where they feel like playing. And ultimately, it's like you try to trade him. He's supposed to be a goal scorer of the future, but the fact that he chose that he didn't want to play here, and then you're saying, well, I guess that means we got to get rid of him, or else he's not going to be worth it to us. And
Well, I mean, you see that happen in other sports too. I mean, if you got a guy that doesn't want to be there, you move off him, right? Because you don't want them poisoning the well, essentially, right? Like you don't need that cancer in the locker room. If they don't want to be there, they will affect other people, right? So, I mean, do you get what you want for them? No, of course not. But you do have to get them out of the building.
Yeah. It's unfortunately happening more and more too across the sport.
Everybody's getting like a case of
Well, they've seen it work in basketball. Like that's the thing, is it works so well in basketball. You watch Harden and KD do it constantly. They're like, oh, we didn't win. I'm mad. I'm going to a different team. It's just like, guys, you signed a 4-year deal. Like maybe give it 2 or 3, like
maybe. Yep. But it's such a players' league all over the place now that when a player says, I don't want this, they end up caving. And you have a guy who's like, all right, this guy would be worth 3 draft picks normally, but now he's over there pouting and crying. I guess we'll take whatever we can get for him, and you drive your own value down.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet that you're going to start seeing those clauses in football. Those clauses that are going to come out and say, listen, we're going to put in an unhappy clause. If you choose to be unhappy and you want to get rid of this, we are going to remove half of the guaranteed worth.
I'm actually surprised some verbiage like that hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the other side has to sign it too. So I mean, there's that, but
right. But I'm like, basketball should have those clauses, and I guess the problem is that the players, the CBA won't allow that. The Players Association won't allow that. Baseball doesn't have that problem as badly.
Right.
Oh, NBA is the worst, no question.
For sure.
I mean, NBA, the players do whatever they want to do. Like that. That's how that league is set up.
Yeah. In basketball, in the NBA, you play hard in your contract year.
Yep.
Make sure you sign that next contract. And then the next year, we have no idea what we're getting from you. You know, the guys who really want to play are going to play hard. Some of them, though, are honestly, I just signed a 4-year deal. I'm going to write out that 4-year deal. And there's like no recourse for anybody. So, no, the NBA is clearly, to me, the worst.
Especially because it's, you know, it's fully guaranteed. It's not even like it's
right.
It's not even like it's super incentive laden, like when you see it in football, right? Where you have a great year in a contract year, and yeah, you get a bunch of guaranteed money, but it's not the whole contract. When you're looking at these other sports, it's, you know, it's most of the contract, right? Like there's a little bit of incentive stuff for playoffs and awards and stuff like that.
Right.
But for the most part, it's
what you see.
It's guaranteed. So if you're like, oh, I'm load managing and I'm going to play 43 games this year, and you're just like, what are we doing?
Well, not only that, but you had like, there's been a couple of guys that have come to Philadelphia and not played one game. You know, had to get paid. Ow, my back, my knee. Ow, I can't play. Wah.
I just started a rap career. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I
feel like that's half the guys Philly has on their roster right now, to be honest. No, I mean, no shade. It's just you look at who they've grabbed, and if they were all healthy, because I said this, I think, Bo, we were on the show, and I was like, I like Philly's team, who they have there, completely healthy in the Eastern Conference. I think it's an easy top 4 seed. You know, I think they can make some noise. And Bo was like, yeah, but look at those guys. And I was like, oh, stop. And then they're trying to prove me right one way or another between injuries and suspensions. You know what I mean? It's just like they have a talented team, but they cannot get everybody on the court at the same time, you know, to save their life. They even have hit on the draft, you know, and have gotten great players there. And it's still trades have worked out. It's like everything is working out except you look on the court and it's like, you know, the guy that just, what Grimes is now leading the team because everyone else has been knocked out somehow.
Well, I mean, Grimes is leading the team right now only because Maxey is hurt.
No, that's what I said, because everybody's been knocked out. So I'm looking at the box score and I'm saying Grimes. I'm like, where is everybody else? But you're like, no Maxey, no MB, which I guess you have to at this point understand it's going to happen. I feel like he gave all he could to get the MVP, and then it's like, and then that was it. You know, you're getting half a season from him at best.
The best example of a team that, you know, just couldn't get anybody on the court together was the that Nets team, right?
Yep,
with KD and Harden, and I mean, you looked on paper, and you're like, there's nobody beating this team, right? Like on paper, you're just like, this roster is wild, and then they played 12 games together.
Yeah,
right.
They won those 12 games. But they played 12.
Think about it. KD by himself almost took down the Bucks, who won the championship that year. And you think that's without the other two guys, without them being knocked out. So I get it. And no, that wasn't a knock at Philly. I was saying, like, I think that team is extremely talented. Just, you know.
Yeah, they just can't get on the court.
You can't get on the court.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of that's kind of it. Like you said, when I think of KD, who's obviously has been fighting to try to win a ring outside of
Golden
State, and he can't, you know, because he just can't find the people to even play with him.
You know what I mean? This guy's screen name.
Pettysburg. Yeah, nice.
So it becomes a matter of like, the Sixers window got closed by Kawhi Leonard. That's that quadruple bounce bucket at the end of the game was that window shutting. You know, because the following year they didn't get out of the first round. The year after that, they didn't get out of the first round. The year after that, they didn't get out of the first round. And ultimately, it's like, or it was the first round or second round exit. Either way, it was like we kept getting in the same problem over and over again.
Yeah. And Jimmy Butler forces his way out too, somewhere in the middle of that too. After that, right?
Well, that wasn't Jimmy Butler's fault. They decided to keep, you know, to Tobias Harris. over him. And it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Really? That was the choice?
Maybe one of the
Yep.
stranger decisions you're ever gonna find.
Yeah, and then you have Ben Simmons, who at one point Ben Simmons was
Was a baller.
scoring 48 points a game,
Yeah.
and then decided he couldn't shoot anymore. Like,
Yeah, it was the Charles Barkley golfing, right? Like he was actually good at golf, and then he had that like weird hitch in his swing that ruined his golf game for like a decade.
Yeah. You could see Simmons was all mental. He just like refused to shoot at one point. So
right. Well, that's underneath the basket again. Could have put us in the lead in the playoffs against Atlanta, and kicked it back out. And that was it. I mean, also, I wasn't a big fan of our coach. Doc Rivers was great at losing games. As you can
we're
see
not
with
here.
I mean, that's when you can't visualize it going in. That's when you stop jacking shots up, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're just missing, you can't get it dialed in. It's another thing when mentally you're visualizing the failure, because then you'll stop even trying.
For sure.
You're like, okay, I know I'm gonna miss this. Dish it out.
So, but then what really made things worse is that he cried that it was mental health. That reason why I can't play. I have mental health problems. Until they decided they weren't going to pay him because he didn't want to go see anybody. And then he's like, "Oh, hold on. No, I'm really fine. I can play."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to keep them checks coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That whole saga was bad because when they were praising him, he was fine, everything was good, and then all of a sudden he was terrible, and people were like, "Hey, man, you're not playing well." I was like, "Oh, like you said, mental health stuff." And we're like, don't throw that out as a ploy. Like we want to. And yes, Doc is one of the best. We've talked about this several times on the program. I'm not a Doc Rivers fan. I think he gets a lot of credit for being like a good person, and they've showed little, stuff of him outside. Well, that's great, but like at the end of the day, you want your team to win games, and he gets stacked with talent. It's not like he's doing rebuilding teams a lot.
Milwaukee was a great team until he came and brought them on, and then they have gone. Yeah. It was like, hey, we're going. We don't like this coach. Bam.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at those Clippers teams that he had.
They didn't even like the coach before, and they were winning.
Yes. One of the weirdest situations ever. You have a winning record with one coach, you fire him, you get Doc, and your record goes down. You're like, what were we doing? Even if the other guy you think was terrible, he won games, a high percentage of his games.
That's the thing, right? Like he was close to a 700 win percentage. Like you're just like, how do you fire this guy? Like even if you hate him as a person, you're just like, the results are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Sixers are going to wind up being the 9th seed.
Sticking with basketball, you have Luka splitting up with his fiance, and then is just going on an all-world tear, right? Like, so since they split, he's averaging 32.8 points a game, first in the NBA, 8.5 assists, third in the NBA, 8 rebounds, close to 50% shooting. Like it's, turns out
she was the problem.
Yes. I mean, the evidence is the evidence, right?
Can't argue with those numbers. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but is it going to be good enough to get the Lakers even into the play? I mean, the Lakers are probably going to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they're well in the playoffs. I just don't see them winning.
They're not going to do anything.
Yeah. They're the 3 seed right now.
Oklahoma and the Spurs are like so far ahead in those.
Yeah, everybody else is just playing like invitational games. It's going to be those two teams.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that the Sixers, it's just like they should be the 3rd or 4th best team in that league, in that conference.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. I'm telling you, when this whole thing started, I was talking good about you guys. And I was like, yep, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I got shot down, and then, But I was on your side, man.
I
Well,
appreciate it.
you know, sticking with basketball for 2 more seconds before we get out of here. So the league meetings are supposed to happen here in the next few days. And I don't know that they're actually taking the vote, but the conversation is supposed to happen. So they're supposed to narrow down the cities as far as which ones potentially get a expansion. I think the actual vote for the expansion is next month. But
what the alert that came across said 24th and the 25th, and they are voting on Vegas and Seattle. That's what the alert that just came out.
okay.
Said.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see that came out today.
Yeah, I sent you a message. There's a little private chat over there that.
Yeah, I didn't look in there at all. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, there you go. 24th, 25th.
So
okay.
24th and 25th, they're supposed to. I mean, it came out in the middle of the show, so it said they're voting on Vegas and Seattle for the 28-29 season.
Yeah,
when they would start if they get.
Yeah, because they'd be under the new TV contract. So yeah. Okay, so so they're actually voting on it now. So they've already picked the cities because when you were listening to Silver a few weeks ago, he wasn't convinced that they even knew which cities. Right. So, which really sounded like, hey, we're going to find a way to screw Seattle one more time. That's really what that sounded like. Because you knew they weren't going to not put one in Vegas. Like, that was a foregone conclusion.
That's definitely.
So then it was just like, oh, can we find any other city than Seattle to put a team in?
Yeah. I can't wait till they get a bunch of NBA players going out in Vegas. That's going to be a problem. So. And on that note, the WNBA is supposed to another deadline of today, right, for them to talk? So.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So, they're supposed to actually sit down tomorrow, which that'll be interesting because we're going to get a chat with Renee Washington tomorrow morning. And, she covers a lot of hoops, college and WNBA, NBA. So I'll be interested to hear what her take is on really on how this is all going.
Yeah, that says that they were trying to get a deal done by today, that they are making progress, but still a bit of ways yet.
Yeah, so we were going to try and have one done today, but they have like a sit-down meeting scheduled for tomorrow. So, which seemed weird. It's like, oh, let's have one more deadline because we really don't want to get in a room with you. Like that. That's the takeaway I had from that. They're like, okay, we're scheduling this thing for Tuesday, and they're like, maybe we can get it done Monday. Which fair enough.
Yeah.
That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. We got to get out of here on time. If you are listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, you got some smooth jazz headed your way. Otherwise, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. Otherwise, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.